guys, jadi gue matiin video dulu ya sampai Vina selesai PPT, oke? Tadi di sini di ask to turn on video, so that's why. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to EduAmerica TV. Hi, I'm my trainer, one of the guides here at EduAmerica, and we welcome our audience joining us online. We truly hope that you are doing well and staying safe amidst this outbreak. Well, anyway, for those of you who are first-timers here, hi, welcome to EduAmerica TV for the first time. EduAmerica is the U.S. Embassy's American Center. Our mission is to provide a space for young generations of Indonesia to learn more about the United States. We have temporarily moved to a solely digital platform so you can enjoy our program from the comfort of your own home and have fun the curve of COVID-19. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comment box below, and our panelists will answer them later in the seminar. And for our friends here who are joining us through Zoom, there are a couple of features that you can use to actively participate in the seminar. You can use the raise hand section to ask your questions with your video on, or you can also use the chat box section whenever you wanted to say hi to the other participant and also the panelist as well. But please keep in mind to use these features wisely, all right? Cool. All right, now on today's session, we are going to talk about how EducationUSA at America can assist you with your U.S. university application. But as per usual, before we begin, we are going to have a social media quiz. Are you guys ready? Okay, here we go. The question is, before transferring to Columbia, former President Barack Obama was enrolled at this institution. Is it A, the University of Hawaii, B, Occidental College, C, UCLA, or D, George Washington University? I will repeat the question one more time. Listen carefully. Before transferring to Columbia, former President Barack Obama was enrolled at this institution. Is it A, the University of Hawaii, B, Occidental College, C, UCLA, or D, George Washington University? You can participate in this quiz through our social media comment section, and stay tuned till the end of this program to find out if you got the answers right. Now, one more thing before we begin, please don't hesitate to take a selfie, capture this moment, and share it through your social media and let everyone know that you are having a great time with EduAmerica. Feel free to tag us on Instagram at ATAmerica. And now, without further ado, please welcome our moderator for today, Kak Vina Alatas.
Hi, thank you so much, Maya. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to EduAmerica TV. My name is Vina. I'm one of the advisors for EducationUSA based in EduAmerica. And I'm very excited for tonight's event. Hopefully, you guys were here on Thursday for the essay session. And then I told that day, that evening, that if you can join this event on a Saturday morning, because there are a lot that we're going to talk about tonight. I'm not going to give you any presentation slides or anything like that, but we're just gonna discuss a lot of things. If you have any questions, please keep them coming. Anything related to U.S. University. Santika and I will take those questions. But like usual, if this is your first time, I want to say hi to everyone who is watching this session from so many different platforms, because of course we are not only here in Zoom, which I'm looking at. There are already a couple of people here in Zoom. Thank you guys so much for joining in on a Saturday morning. But we actually also have people probably watching this session from our Facebook, Twitter. We are also live on Instagram. We are on YouTube. You can also watch us from the Ad America's website. If you guys want to join the crowd here in Zoom, please do so because I would like to encourage everyone to turn their video on, and then I will also like to um, allow everyone who wants to ask questions verbally, because if you've been here with us before, you know, like how you usually ask your question in the chat box, right? And then I will read it out loud and then I answered it. But this morning, if you want to do that, that's fine also. But if you feel like you just kind of like want to, you know, just like say it verbally in front of the camera so that everyone can see you, and maybe you can also introduce yourself. The whole point of this session this morning is basically a mixture of everything. Like I'm going to, you know, like share with you everything about like our advices in the past about Education USA, but then we also allow you to meet up basically with anyone who's, you know, want to also study in the US. So it's kind of like an advising meetup. And then I want to see like how this event will go. Because if you think that this is such a good idea, I would love to actually have this on a regular basis to just basically touch, you know, like checking up on you guys, you know, if you guys have any updates about your application process so that everyone can also hear about it. So yeah, I think it will be fun. So yeah, like I said earlier, if this is your first time, welcome to Education USA at America's event. I'm going to talk a little bit, probably just like 5 minutes or so about Education USA. So for those of you who have been here before, which I see a lot of familiar name in Zoom here, you guys probably can just, you know, play with your phone first or maybe grab a cup of tea or coffee while I give this presentation. So this presentation is basically for you guys if this is your first time with us and then you're wondering, ini siapa sih? Siapa sih Education USA and what, you know, the kind of services that we do and everything. We got my first time. Hi, Julie Nguyo here. So I am going to, 1 second, give me 1 second, I'm just gonna share this. All right, so what is Education USA? Here's my clicker. Okay, what is Education USA? We are part of the U.S. Department of State Network, or here in Indonesia, we call it Kementerian Luar Negerinya Amerika Serikat. We have over 400 international student advising centers in more than 170 countries. So as you can see, we are all over the world, basically. What we do as advisors is that we assist everyone who wants to study in the US. So we give you accurate and unbiased latest information about studying in the US, and all of our services are free of charge. I know it sounds too good to be true, but it is really true, and that's what we are here for you. So we encourage actually to for you guys who want to study in the US to use our service. Okay. So in Indonesia, not only here in Ad America Center, but we actually have 8 centers with a total of 10 advisors. So we have 2 in Jakarta, one at the U.S. Embassy with David and Iqbal. We also have one in Ad America with Santika and myself. And then we also have 2 in Surabaya, one at the U.S. Consulate General with Haski, and one in one of the universities there, Unair with Ambar. We also have one in Medan, similar to Surabaya, at the U.S. Consulate there with Jeffrey. We have one in Malang, Universitas Muhammadiyah, with Zaki. We have one in Makassar at Universitas Fajar with Cendani. And last but not least, we have one in Banda Aceh at UIN Araniri with Lilis. So if there is no Education USA where you live, you don't have to worry because all of us, the 10 advisors here in Indonesia, we cover the whole country. All right? So what we do, and this is something that I would like to really talk about today, actually, each step, right? So we start with some, like right now I'm just giving you the teaser, but then like once I'm done with this introduction presentation, I would like to like really dig into one of each of the steps. Okay, so we start with step 1, which is research your option. So you know you want to study in the US, but you just don't know where to start. We are definitely the place for you to go. To get all this information, right? So let's sit down and let's talk about some of your options as an international student. And then once we're done with a lot of things actually happening in step one. I'm going to elaborate more on that later. But then once we're pretty much like good to go in step one, we can move on to step two, which is finance your studies, because it's equally important, right? Because the majority of us, if not all of us, probably want to know some of the funding options for us international students. So for example, like scholarship, the kind of scholarship that we can get as international students, or any kind of funding that probably the university can give to us. And then so we're going to talk a lot about that in step two normally. And then after that, we can move on to step three, which is completing your application. A lot of things happening here. So for example, like last Thursday, I gave the presentation about essay. If you missed that one, don't worry. Actually, all of our videos are available on EdAmerica YouTube. Santika can help me, share the link to our YouTube page, and then you can basically see the latest presentation that I gave on essay writing. It's really interesting because the essay writing is something that I give every single month. So when you type it, how to write a statement of purpose, like typing all the full title, you will actually see a lot of me, like a lot of videos about when I gave the presentation. But I would recommend you to just pick the latest one. All right. The presentation slides that I gave on those events, on previous events, are basically all the same. But again, like I recommend you to just pick the latest one because the way I present it is always different every time. Okay. And then a lot of things, like we give presentation about like resume or CV is on a monthly basis. And then like sometimes we also did events talking about like number different type of standardized tasks, so very technical topic, and that's a lot of things going on in step three. And not just through events, when we do advising as well, we talk about this, right? Like when maybe you have questions about should I take GRE or GMAT, because the universities allow us to take one of the tests, which one should I take, those kind of questions. A lot of something that we can assist you on that as well. And then once we are pretty much done with step three, that means you basically, ready to go. You're good to go, and then you're going to submit, all the documents to the university. And then after that, you're going to basically, give it a time, right, until the university get back to you and let you know whether you get accepted or not, right? And then once you get accepted, because that's a goal, right? That's our goal. You're going to apply for the student visa for sure. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well, sharing with you some good news about the fact that now the U.S. Embassy in Jakarta here has resumed accepting student visa applicants, right? But normally what happened in step four is when the advisor, Santika or myself, we give you some guidance about the step-by-step if you want to apply for the visa. Even before that, we can, people are sometimes still confused about the difference between J1 or F1. That's definitely something that we can talk about today. Sorry, usually we have the events in the evening, but it's still Saturday morning. So yeah, something that we can talk about this morning about like the difference between F1 and J1. And then so basically we're guiding you the step by step about the student visa application. And then after that, step 5 is kind of like the last step, which is prepare for your departure. It's very exciting time for us here at Education USA, because normally every year we always have one event to kind of like wrap everything up, kind of like letting you guys go before you study in the US, before you depart to the US. We give you one event called PDO, pre-departure orientation. I simply cannot wait. I'm very hopeful that next year everything's going back to normal. So I really look forward to have PDO in person here in EdAmerica instead of doing it digital. So let's hope on that. So those are basically the 5 steps that Education USA offers to you guys. And that's something that we're going to talk a lot more in a minute. Okay. So meet the advisors. Meet with us now that you are with Education USA EdAmerica. Meet with the two of us. So again, my name is Fina, and then I have my colleague Santika, also the Education USA advisor. She will be around. She will be. We'll discuss a lot of things with Santika as well. So you can either directly email one of us. So I leave my email here. Santika can help you guys copy paste this email in the Zoom chat. Our advising hours. This is similar to before we have the pandemic, because in America, I love to tell people that our office hours. Some people found it really weird, but I found it's just unique. So we don't usually do the normal office hour here compared to other education USS centers. Probably this is the only center in the world where, first of all, we open every day, 7 days a week, and then we are available from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. So we don't do the normal office hour, like sometimes 8 to 5, or like 9 to 5. So people found it like, oh my god, like you're still working until 9. But yeah, I mean, I find it's really, when it comes to like getting the traffic for prospective students who want to study in the US, I would say that our center is very comprehensive in that way, because let's say you just finished, if you're still in high school and then you want to study bachelor's degree, and then you can come to us. Let's say you're done with school at 3, and then you have like extracurricular activities, and then like it's 5, and then probably for like other centers it's already closed, so you can't meet with any of the advisors. But then with us, we are still here until 9, so you can go to at America Center and then see one of us. That's what happened before the pandemic. Now that we are during the pandemic, we are going fully digital, but then we don't change the hours either. So we still do the normal office hour for at America, which is from 1 until 9, and then we're available every day. So here I leave you the Zoom advising ID. Is an open room, but we will have to let you guys in first, because our advising system is first come first serve. So technically, you don't have to make an appointment. But sometimes, for example, like I'm already in the middle of a session with someone, and then probably you're coming in, and then you're gonna be put in a waiting room. So for you to kind of like be in line before I let you in after my current advising session. All right. If you don't feel like confident enough to just go ahead, go to Zoom and see either myself or Sisantika, which is that's fine as well. You can email us first. So you can email us. So before I give you my email and Santika's email, but if you also want to email our email center first, that's also fine. So it's jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. Feel free to introduce yourself, or maybe you have like any specific questions. Although it depends on the kind of questions that you have. If we feel that you have the type of questions where it's easier for us to explain it in person, not in person, like like verbally, we usually tell you guys to go to Zoom. But if the question is pretty straightforward, then we can like just simply share it, reply it through email. We can do that as well. All right. Today is also actually the last event for Education USA in 2020. So I'm actually very like excited in a way. I took a quick note about like how many events that we have this year so far, and how many advising sessions that we have so far. Just look it up like real quick on my report, on Education USA America's report, and I would love to share it with you guys. But yeah, so today is the last day of our event for 2020. But don't worry, like once we hit 2021, the second week, or I think it's the first week, we're going to start hitting on again with like our upcoming events. So if you want to know our upcoming event, it's still not up yet, but later on, give it a week or two, it will be there. All the information about our January events. You can simply go to Education USA website, educationusa.state.gov, or if you go to EdAmerica's website, it's easier. So you can go to EdAmerica's website, edamerica.org.id/educationusa. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I gave the introduction presentation this morning a bit longer, because normally, like when it was the essay event like last Thursday, I have to do like real quick because I have like presentation to give, but not today. So it's basically very laid back today and everything. So I'm gonna stop share this, and then I would like to say hi to Santika.
Hi Vina, thank you so much.
How are you, Santika?
Doing great, and it's actually a good change to have a morning event once in a while, just to alter your sleeping pattern and everything. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thank you so much for the elaborate introduction. And I actually, looking at our participants today in Zoom, unfortunately, we cannot see. This is the thing why we prefer everyone to join us in Zoom as well, because we cannot see or know the name of the participants if you are watching from other platforms. But that's totally fine. You can still send us questions from the comment box if you are watching from Facebook, YouTube, or other platforms. But for in Zoom, I want to shout out to everyone here. We have Abioso, which is a new name, Abi, Adam, Cesarani, Chandra, Jasmine, Julie, Nur, ada Alpha, Gay, Uli, ada Yan. Hi Yan, you have questions for us that
From last Thursday, which unfortunately we couldn't take it because like
we
the
are.
time limit.
Yes.
But thank you so much for making the time this morning. But yeah,
Thank you, Yan, for coming. And we kind of expect your questions and discussion with us. You can turn on your video. You can turn on you can unmute yourself just by requesting it to us, and our team will help us with that. Okay. And not only for Yan, for everyone here in Zoom, if you guys want to, turn on your camera and ask us verbally with your questions, if you find it easier than typing it down here, feel free to do so. And we also have Yara, Agustina, and then we have Fina.
yeah, and then Santika, like if you see in
Yeah.
the chat, we have actually Julie Nguyo said that I'm not from Indonesia. Can I still get
Wow.
help? I am from Nairobi, Kenya. Wow, from
Oh,
Kenya, all the way from Kenya. Thank you so much. What time is it there? Thank you so much for making the time to be with us. And that's like really what is interesting about Education USA, though. We are technically all over the world. Like I said earlier, there are 400 ish
yeah.
international student advising centers. Maybe Santika can help, or maybe I can take a look real quick. The Education Research Center in Kenya.
Yeah,
So
again. I'll do
yeah, it's 7 a.m. in Kenya. Wow,
Thank
it's
you so much for
11.
your
It's
dedication.
11:21 here in Jakarta. But thank you so much. But yeah, no, absolutely. As answering your question, can you still get help? Yeah, absolutely. But we would definitely recommend you to reach out to Education Research Center in Kenya as well. But then no pressure or anything like that. If you feel like I just want to go to Education West Edinburgh for help, we can do that as well.
We can.
I mean,
Because
why not? I'm not. Why
yeah,
not?
in the past
Oh,
I had advisee from Zimbabwe, and I was like, wow, how do you find us?
and
I
then the latest one here, Santika Yara Khalaf. I am from Egypt, but live in Bosnia
wow.
and Herzegovina. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but oh my goodness, this is interesting. How did you guys
Wow.
find about this event? And please, seriously, guys. I mean, no pressure, but if you want to turn your camera on, if feel free to do that. I think like I just want to have like some kind of like
Yeah, it's so
interaction.
early.
There you go. I
Hello,
see Julie.
Julie.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Jan. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. Like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting because, like, so this events we usually have it like once a month, but actually I don't really prepare anything. So right before the event, me and Santika we were like,
What are we
so
going
what
to
are we
talk
gonna talk
about?
about?
Oh, Jan is coming. Okay.
There you go.
So
Okay.
happy that we
But
have
now we have to be
more.
mindful, Santika, that we have to speak in English because we have a couple of people here with us who might not understand Indonesia. So, but thank you so much, Julie. And I think, yeah, we have Yara. Yara, no pressure. But again, if you want to turn the video on, please do that. It's really
So
interesting.
yeah, for Yara, wait, I was looking up for Education USA in Nairobi, Kenya for
Mhm.
June, and I found that one in the US Embassy in Nairobi. So
Mhm.
I'm just gonna give the
So
link in the
yeah,
chat.
so it's very common, by the way, that Education USA Center located at the U.S. Embassy. So for example, like in Indonesia, yeah, we definitely have Education USA at the U.S. Embassy. But I'm actually really glad to be stationed in America because America is such a like a really cool place and everything like that. But yeah.
So actually, I based on my experience having outside of Indonesia's advisee is very very interesting. I actually had fun, like I had one or two sessions this year virtually via Zoom. And actually, there are just some things that you will need your local Education USA for help, or like answering your questions if it's related with some kind of like visa or anything like, something that has to do with your nationality and your country where you reside in. Then I would refer you to the Education USA in your city or
Mhm.
in your country.
So, Santika, what happens with the student that you said from Zimbabwe?
Yeah.
So you
So
refer the student to the Education USA there?
actually, for the CV and the essay, I didn't, because she wants to do it with me. And
Oh, that's really
yeah,
nice.
it's
Yeah.
I think it's not all Education USA have this availability for advising via Zoom, Fina. That's
Mhm.
what I realized, and I'm not sure how available they are via Zoom. I mean, via email, I'm sure 100% that they will respond to you. But aside from that, they have a different, system and working hours. Fina and I just happen to have a very unique one, and actually just the only one, I think, the only Education USA that has this kind of working hours, from the afternoon until the night.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I think that's a bit tricky if you're applying for like master and PhD, and then the hours of the Education USA is just the normal office hours. So yeah, I think that's how everyone here find us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually asked if how they find us, and they actually say that they found it through the Education USA official website, because you can find all of the events there, right? And I always submitted the events there, Fina. So
Yeah.
I think that's how they find us.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
think it's also because like since the pandemic, right, Santika, like because now all of the Education USA events all over the world are going digital. So, before, like if you go to Education USA website, you can kind of like pick the country and then see,
exactly.
like the upcoming events for that specific countries. But now it seems like what the Education USA official website does is by combining all of the digital events into like one page, right, Santika? So probably that's why people start to see. And I don't know about other countries, but here in America, I mean, we don't do like a lot of events, but like what in a month we probably have at least two for sure, right? So probably people kind of, oh, what event is this? And
Exactly. So I'm trying to find Education USA in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Hopefully,
mm-hmm.
I will find one, because this is very interesting. I do find one in, I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Sarajevo or Sarajevo?
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, I'm just gonna forward the link, so hopefully this will help you. Um, but yeah, feel free to ask us any questions that general enough for studying in the U.S., and we will do our best to help you regardless of where you are actually. So
Mm.
yeah, and I think we have some more in the chat box here. So
And yeah, I mean, for everyone who just like joined this session, and then you want to introduce yourself in the chat,
yes,
by leaving. Well, we already probably know your name, but if you want to leave your name and then probably share with us, if you want to study bachelor's or master's, on what program, which university, and then if is it like for 2021 or is it for 2022? Feel free to do that.
yeah, and I realized if you're applying for like 2020, fall 2021, the deadline mostly are between, the end of this year, which is November, December, or early next year, which is January or February or some universities are in March, but it's a bit rare to find those in March. But yeah, so if you're applying for fall 2021 and this is your first time here,
Mm-hmm.
we are hopeful that you have most things ready so that you can just check it with us instead of doing it from the zero, from the scratch, because then you will need to, Fina mentioned this in the Thursday event, you will need to run. Well,
Oh
today I would
yeah.
say you have to sprint if you haven't started anything and you are applying for fall 2021.
Yeah, and then Santika, like we have received a number of emails, right, from
Yeah.
people contacting us for the first time, and then they are requesting a session with us. but then there is like an urgency in their email.
The deadline is next week.
Yeah, the deadline is next week, and like, can I see any of the advisors and everything? And so we were just like, uh-oh, this is gonna be a problem because like we wish that these people, like have contacted us like way earlier. Um,
Yeah, we wish everyone actually contacted us earlier, and our recommended is actually 1 or 2 years before your plan to go to the US. So let's say you want to start fall 2023. So 2021 is a good time for you to get to know Education USA and our services and make good use of our services that we can give to you and our guidance. 2 years is actually it sounded really such a long time, but if you juggle between work, family, and every other things on top of your master or PhD application, then it's time really flies, and you will be shocked on how many things that you can do better in when you want to submit it. You're like, oh, maybe I should have done better, like on the things that you can improve, of course, like essay and CV, and maybe letter of recommendations. But the rest of the things like transcript is kind of like in the past, so there's nothing that you can do about your past GPA, right? But you can always like retake GRE or retake GMAT or retake TOEFL or IELTS to improve your score, if you feel like you can do better.
mhm.
So okay, I'm receiving private messages, which if you guys are okay. Hi, Shok Alpha Gay. I don't know how to pronounce your
Seems
name.
like there are a lot of people coming
I'm
from
sorry if
like
I
non
made a
yeah,
mistake
outside
in
the
pronouncing your
Indonesia.
name.
Yeah.
Know that it's not intentional because this is such a unique name that we don't really see every day in Indonesia. So yeah, if you want to, no pressure, like Vina said, if you want to turn on your video and maybe you want to unmute yourself, let us know. I think I had someone in the chat box actually mentioned that she wants to unmute herself, but she cannot. Who is that? Let me see. Oh, Yara. Okay, so let us try to unmute you from our end. Okay, team, please unmute Yara. So yeah, Yara, I found that for you, the Education USA Center, anything regarding something has to do with the local authorities or your questions that involve where you reside in, you can ask that questions to them. But aside from that, as I said, if it's general, we will do our best to answer you. Oh wow, Jan have a very interesting background there. I just realized I was like, wow, that's
Game of
cool.
Thrones. All
Oh,
right.
Jan. Okay. Okay. Cannot wait until we go to your question, Yan, because you were very eager to ask us verbally instead of like typing it in. It's kind of like a surprise quiz.
Mm-hmm. I think Yara, we already unmute you if you want to.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi, Yara.
Hi. So actually, I'm here in this event because this is my first year and my first semester in my university, but I'm not going through it and I have a lot of struggle, especially that the country that I'm with, I cannot do a lot of friends because of the language that the people speak. This is another problem for me. So my father suggested me if I can search for scholarship outside or to see what I can do so I can procedure even if I will change my department
Okay.
because I'm not going through it actually, and that's why I'm this event. Maybe I can find something that will be more interesting for me or will be helpful for me.
Thank you, Yara. So, sorry to hear that, but yeah, you can always look for US colleges and universities if you think that you want to try some new experiences in US. And
So Yara wants to transfer for to university in the US. Is that correct, Yara? Because you said you're already like in a first or second year. I get that right, right? Something.
just muted herself again, so we have
Okay.
to like ask to unmute again. Let me do
Hmm.
this.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't notice that. Yes,
Oh, that's
that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to search for another universities. Um, so maybe I can go through it.
right.
Understand me? So
Okay.
this is the first year, not
Yeah.
the
My
second.
question is, are you currently in the U.S. university that you're looking to transfer to another U.S. university,
No,
or
no, I am in Bosch University. It's Turkish one,
Mhm.
but she has the English language as an official language for learning.
But then you just you feel like you want to just do it in the U.S.
Yes, another country that I can contact with people, have more friends, have someone that
right?
can help me because I don't have this opportunity here, especially for the language, as I said.
Interesting. So this is basically pretty similar to Julie. So I've been talking to you, Julie, in the chat, right? Feel free. Do you want to share with us about your story, or you prefer to just like? Yeah. Okay. So can we unmute her? Okay. You know what? I can actually do it.
Yeah, I did it. I just did. Okay, there you
Yeah.
go.
There you go. Okay. Hi,
Okay,
Julie.
thank you. Hello. You're
Hi.
very friendly.
Oh,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much. All the way from Kenya. I still can't believe this. I'm so gonna
Yeah.
brag about this to everyone.
Yeah,
Okay. I don't
Yeah,
like. I don't care. I'll be like, guys, we are in Jakarta, but we have people from like Bosnia. From oh my god, it's amazing. Okay, go ahead.
okay, so I found out about the event on the website. It was among the events on the calendar. So I
Yeah.
thought it was general for everyone, but I don't regret coming here. So I'm in my second year. I just finished my second year first semester doing film production in a Kenyan university, but it's in the American system. It's
Mhm.
called United States International University Africa, the only one in Africa. So I thought because it's a US university and it uses the American system, it would be easy to transfer my credits because
Mhm.
most of the universities in Kenya use the Kenyan system. So yeah, I thought it would be easier, but I don't know. I don't know where to start because US has too many states, too many universities, too many opportunities. So I just wanted to narrow it down. Um, yeah, and find the best uni for me.
all
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Julie, for sharing. Sophina, this is actually, I don't know, I think this is just very right in time. It's just a good timing because we discussed that we want to focus on the step one today, right?
Oh yes.
Finding the university, which I think also one of the steps for you to find which university that you want to transfer to before you decided, to find out, oh, do they accept like my credits or whatsoever. The first step is actually trying to find which university first, because like Julie said, there are 50 states and there are so many universities, and with Yara as well, she's just trying to find, a university that she
Yeah.
can.
So okay, so the what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share screen, and I would like to tell you how to navigate, like by finding universities, and this will pretty much applicable to everyone who is watching this session as well. So I'm going to try to be very general, but I would like to use Julie's example here because Julie shared with us her major, right? So I'm going to share it. Hopefully you can see this.
Yep.
So first of all, so this is definitely like a perfect example of what is usually going on in step one, which is research your options. So people coming here and then they say, I want to study in the US this major with this major and I don't know where to start. I don't know how to find. Because there's so many, a lot of information in on the website, right? Um, uh, like before we a lot of our other advisors in Indonesia usually they like to share with their advisees that for you to navigate, like try to find the university for you is by using Peterson's, but there's a but. We Sandika and I we don't like really like that website if I may say that, but we prefer to actually just use Google. For us, Google works amazing, right, Santika? And so basically, what you can do is just by playing around with the keywords,
Exactly.
right? just play around with the keywords. So here I have
So what happened with the if you play around with the Google words when you
mm,
around, using the keywords that's applicable to you, like your program or the concentration or the focus of the study that you want, and then maybe if you have a preference of which state, that will help
mhm.
as well.
Yeah, it's always like very helpful when you already know exactly the major, what it's called, because sometimes people might still kind of figure out the major that they want to do, and that's when we need to step back before we try to find the university, right? So, for example, here, like Julie said that you're doing the bachelor's in film production and directing, right? And then assuming that you want to transfer with the same major in the U.S. So what I usually do is just by typing out the major and then followed by U.S. University. That's it. As simple as that. And then let's see what we got. There you go. So people like to ask us, right? Like, how to find the right university? Like, do I go with the big brand universities? Not always. Not always. It always depends on the major, right? So let's say, what is like the brand name type of universities? We call, like those Ivy Leagues. We call it highly selective universities. So like Ivy Leagues or like MIT, Stanford. But when it comes to like film production and directing, those universities might not be the best, right? And so there are actually the other ranking system for that specific major. So, for example, like this website from Careers in Film. And then even like before I opened the website, this already give you a number of universities that at least half the film and schools and film production like just in general they have like a film schools. These are the film schools, right? So you don't have to just rely on the ranking. Like, let's say the way they put like American Film Institute Conservatory in LA is like ranking number one. You don't have to like pay attention too much about the ranking. But what we want is just to get a better idea of what schools in the US that have this major. But then probably Chapman University in Orange in California, they don't have specifically film production and directing. So what happens after we have this list is you need to go to probably some of these universities and then really learn, really try to dig in if they have what you need, if they have the program that exactly match to your major, right? So this is like just one example. And then you don't have to worry about using websites like Hollywood Reporter. There are some like fishy websites that we're not really sure where they get this number from, but the whole idea is to by going into like the industry, like so if it's like film production, that I wouldn't be surprised that Hollywood Reporter has their list, right? Or like what we see here, the careers in film. So Julie, like I would definitely like recommend you to check out some of these universities. And then I know that you also wondering about if they have scholarship. So when it comes to doing a bachelor's degree in the U.S. And when it comes to scholarship for bachelor's degree in the U.S., it's a bit tricky because you definitely want to check, but probably you already know because like every countries they have like different type of scholarship provided by the government. So, for example, here in Indonesia, we have our Indonesian government scholarship for people who want to study in the US, but only on a master's or PhD degree level. But there are like, I think Malaysia or, other countries, their governments might have also full ride scholarship specifically for undergraduate students. So I would rely on government scholarship just because oftentimes it's full, right? But if you want to also want to know about the scholarship provided by the university, the best way is to again play around with the keyword on Google. Because if you go to, let's say, American Film Institute Conservatory website, and then you try to find the financial aid information in there, it's going to be sometimes it's just kind of like overwhelmed because of the information that is provided. And again, guys, this is applicable to all of you as well. I'm going to give you some kind of, examples after this. So when you want to kind of like find an information about financial aid or like scholarship provided by the university, play around with the keywords. So you know what? I'm actually curious. Let's try Chapman, right? If let's say if they have um, Chapman University film school, right? Play around with the keyword film school, and then sometimes Google will just like help you navigate it, right? Like film school. Okay, what do we want to know here? No, we don't want a tuition. We want scholarship, right? So there you go. So let's see if they have it.
So
And then, yeah, Santika.
sorry to cut you. So
Mhm.
after that, you will also, I think after this kind of searches in Google, you will also see other things that's related to that. So watch out for that, just in
Mhm.
case it's the one for you.
If
That
you want to actually also try my tips is by adding international students. There you go. Did you see this? Right? I haven't even typed it, but Google seems like know what I want to ask. So there you go. Right? This is exactly the website that we want to go to, right? Instead of you going to chapmanuniversity.edu and then really try to find like, okay, where is like the tuition and cost information, you can do that by just like so yeah, and then they, even before you open the website, you can actually just see what kind of scholarship that they give out, right? And then usually what happens after this is, let's say you decide that I think I want to give Chapman University a try. So then like learn about like, okay, what information that I need. Oh, but you know what? I just remember that Julie is also a transfer student. We can actually just play around with that keyword as well. Let's see if they have. There you go, transfer. See this? Transfer applicants are eligible for merit-based scholarship of up to 15,000 per year. But I think even when I did, even when I didn't put the transfer on the Google search, it's already there. So this is just to kind of like give you a better idea. So let's say you have like your list, right? Like Chapman and then some other schools, and then you make this note, right? And then you pay attention to a lot of other things. And again, guys, this is applicable to everyone, right? Not only for if you want to study film, right? Other factors like location, that can matter, right? Maybe you're planning that, you know what, like after I graduate, I really hope that I can do OPT, optional practical training, for so that you can do internship or work in the U.S. still under the U.S. student visa. So that maybe you think California, I think probably for me, if you want to do like film, right? Chicago, New York, maybe those kind of like states. So maybe location plays a huge role in this case. So it really depends on your preferences, right? And I think this is like also applicable to Yara as well, right? Is there anything that you want to add, Santika?
Yeah, actually, Yara have a follow-up question. It answers her question on how to find the university, but then she's questioning how to kind of like find the right department because you don't want to end up with the wrong department. And
And Yara is in what department?
yeah, I think it's just an elaborate part of your research that you need to find what this department, this program is all. What is it all about? You know, when you find, you know, like this, right? Edu, and then you
Yeah.
just find out.
And speaking about like you being in a wrong department, this is like what makes the US is like a really interesting destination here, because especially that you are still in a bachelor's degree, because as long as you are still in your first and or second year, you can play around with your major. You can change your department and what have you. So yeah, once you actually know what department that you're really looking for, then pretty similar to what I just shared. All right. So hopefully it really helps, Julie. Please do not hesitate to like keep me updated. I love hearing updates from people. So email me, like share with me, share with us your latest updates, right? We would really love to hear that. Probably in a few months from now, you will let me know. And hey, I'm actually in the US. That would be really so much fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So now that I'm like sharing my screen here, so might as well me playing around just a little bit, and because I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are watching this want to study master's degree. So now let's kind of like do the like the navigate part for the master's study. So let's see. So pretty much similar, but I just want to like really let you know how to do it exactly. So for example, like here in Indonesia, a lot of our advisees, what the popular major Santika, we have what MBA,
Engineering.
public policy, public health, LLM. Engineering is very broad as well. We actually have a lot of people want to study engineering, but because engineering is very broad, usually people, like can be chemical engineering, can be aerospace engineering. So engineering is also like one of the most popular majors. But I would like to give you an example if you want to study like public policy. Is there anyone who wants to study public policy or a major related to that? Please shout out to us, just so I know. But like when you do public policy, you can pretty much like do the same thing as well. Public policy, U.S. University, and then you just play around with the whatever comes on top. So we love U.S. news. We love U.S. news. But then, like I said earlier, we don't want to just only pay attention to top 5 or top 10 that they put, right? We want to actually really learn other universities as well, because even though, let's say, they put UC Berkeley as number 1 in public policy, it doesn't mean that UC Berkeley is for you. Probably when you go down to, let's say, Columbia University, and then you actually learn about public policy there, it's actually for you, right? So then, and the thing is, a lot of us kind of, oh, but Columbia University is kind of like below, and I want to just like stay around with like top 5. I wouldn't really recommend you doing that, right? Because not all of these universities that we see on top is exactly for you. Because usually the way I tell my advisees is that you have to be very selfish for yourself. So it's not about you putting yourself matched to the university, because oftentimes that's what we see from people, right? I want to send my kids only to the top 5 universities in the US, right? But then why would you want to do that if you couldn't really find the best program for you? So you have to be very selfish for yourself. You have to try to find universities that matches with what you want to do, right? So and then let's see. I'm not a big fan of this website for whatever reason. I see it's pretty much similar to Peterson. So what happens? But this is just like my opinion, by the way, my personal opinion. It is too broad. The way they have like the list of universities is just too broad for me. But like with just play around with like the Google and then website like US News, I feel like it's more like, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. I hope you get what I mean. I don't know what I'm saying here, but let's see. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of like College Factual, Masters Portal, Study USA, Master Studies. I'm not really a big fan of that. Top universities is this? Let's look it up. If this is like QS ranking, this one, yeah, I've seen this one. This one is okay. QS ranking is kind of like legit in a way, but it's not as easy to navigate. Not like U.S. News, but sometimes you can actually use this as well. All right, and then so how about like you want to study LLM, but then you have specific concentration. So, for example, like I want to study LLM specifically in human rights, because what happens in the US, they might have like their own concentration compared to like other universities. So, for example, maybe I don't know, maybe UC Berkeley have LLM programs, but they don't have any concentration. So their LLM program is just that general LLM, right? But then let's say University of Virginia has an LLM program and they have like different concentration, and one of them is human rights, probably, right? Sometimes it happens. So if there is some kind of like a concentration that you want to do, you can actually play around with it as well. So for example, if you want to do LLM in human rights, again, U.S. University. And then what comes up is usually what they usually have. I want to actually give a try to use my Google Chrome because I set my Google Chrome the location. I set my Google Chrome to like the U.S. So I'm gonna stop share this just 1 second, and then I'm gonna like open up a new window here. Because when you set your Google to US, some amazing things happen, which I would like to share with you. I think it's this one. Okay, so what I like about doing that is, pretty much, so you say LLM in human rights, US University. Oh, never mind. I think it was something else. Like, okay, let's try public policy, US University. Or did I? Okay, yeah, I don't know why it didn't show up, but sometimes, like when I open it up, there are like a list of all the universities listed on top of my Google search, and then it just show the universities in there, and then it just kind of like, for me, it's really interesting to just click one of them and then just like really learn. But yeah, no, this is just kind of like giving you an example, guys, when you need to like, you're still like in a very early step when you're trying to find the university for you. This is basically the way. So yeah, I'm just gonna like stop share this. I think I'm pretty much done sharing you guys how to navigate the university. So what should we talk about next, Santika?
All right. So I think Yan is already.
Yay, let's hear it from Yan.
So I'm going to unmute him and get his questions so that we can have the rest of the sessions going. There you go. I just pressed that. Okay, there you go. Hi,
There you
Yan.
go. Hi, Yan.
Hi. Yes, pleasure to be here again.
Yeah, our pleasure.
By the way, my concern is about writing essay, answering the questions about why America. As the one that has American dream, me, instead of finding difficulties in finding why America, I will rather hard for me to find why not America in terms of why not America. Yeah, because to me, I'm a scholarship seeker, meaning that I am not capable of funding the whole thing by myself to study. I have to answer this type of question, but in the same time, of course, I have to find a way to stay away from being mediocre or to be cliche kind of thing. So what do you think that I have to think of when writing about why choosing America to study? Because like this, when you speak about America, America has like the giant media things that can channel every single things happening there. Of course, like if you say like I want to take digital marketing because you will have a Silicon Valley as the pioneer of everything digital there. That's very cliche. I guess everybody knows about it. Yeah, that's what I want to learn from you guys.
Great question, Yan. Can you share a little bit with us? Like, so you want to study masters, right?
Yeah, I want to study
What
masters.
major? What major?
I would like to do marketing, but I want to concentrate more on the transformation of marketing things into more of digital things.
Okay, and so the question, is it specifically asking why the United States or why our university?
Why the United States if I would like to apply for the scholarship, but soon if I would like to, after securing scholarship, and then I would like to apply for the university, they will for sure ask why our university. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. So I actually have an answer for you. That's like a really interesting. We don't actually really see that being very common, right, Santika, to see that kind of questions, why the United States? But that's actually, I found it really interesting. And fair enough. I mean, they kind of like want to know, why do you pick the United States, right? So, and I agree with you, Jan, when you said earlier that, it's cliche if you answered it by saying that, oh yeah, because like in Silicon Valley you guys have this, and in that you guys have that. And I'm telling you, there will be a lot of other people writing that way, right? And then if you are here on my essay event, I always tell people that we want your essay to be very different. So then now we have to think about like how to make your essay by answering that question will be the only one compared to other applicants. And I'm telling you now how. Why don't you try to kind of like make a comparison between Indonesia and the US?
Okay. Okay.
Right, and there are and then there are actually so many. I know it sounds like very vague, like when I say that, but there's so many ways for you to do it, right? Maybe you can talk a little bit about you actually. So for example, like I have my advisee that the universities is basically asking why why do you pick the university, right? But then sometimes we are able to answer it by mentioning about like the two countries. And so I think what is it about like the agriculture one, the one that I shared with you on last Thursday. Like she has not mentioned. I mean, in her essay, she mentioned about specifically why she chose that university. But then in the beginning, she actually already do a comparison between Indonesia and the U.S. She said how Indonesia is the world's fourth largest country in the world, just after the United States. So there are so many similarities in terms of like our agriculture industry, right, between Indonesia and the U.S. And then she said that there are so many things to learn from that similarities, because in the U.S. it's already, they already implement the technology aspect of agriculture. In Indonesia we have not, and that's like where she wants to go. So think about like if there is a room for you to also do that, and it doesn't always have about similarities. You can actually also do differences, right?
Okay.
But then think about like how the US itself, so without we go to the university, think about like how the US itself might help you get to where you want to go to. So maybe you're thinking about, because like in the US, after I'm done with this particular program, because it's located, or maybe, you know what, I'm not like a big fan by mentioning location, by the way. But then maybe you can say that there will be, a lot of opportunities that I can do during my study or after my study, for example, like internship. Or maybe you can mention some organizations in the US where you really want to go be part of it, because that's like when you can learn so much from. So, yeah.
Yeah. On top of what Fina said, I think I asked Yan in the chat which kind of scholarship that he's applying for, because it's
Mhm.
very specific to ask like why the US, And it's interesting for us to know as well. So just that we know, oh, this is what, because a lot of our advice is also applying for LPDP. For those of you who are not in Indonesia, LPDP is the Indonesian government funded scholarship. So that's that. And so another, on top of what Fina said, Yan, I think it's very fair, like Fina said, make comparisons. That's one. Second one is because you are taking digital marketing. I mean, you're pitching for a digital marketing field of study. You need to tell them like what, like Fina said, you apply it there. Like the digital marketing in US is just this and that you want to learn, that maybe you can implement in here and everything, and actually say some things about digital marketing in the United States that's not available here. That makes it not that mainstream why you choose the US. Like you said, you have all of the reasons, but you don't want to be cliche, right?
Yeah, and it's really interesting because like that question is actually, now I remember, on my one of my slides for the essay,
Yeah.
I have like a question for you to write, a story about, what you're going to write in the essay. Is you need to ask yourself, why do you need to study in the US? Like what is it for you, and what is it for the country that you have to pick the United States, like all over, like you have to go all over to the United States to study? So this is basically the same question, right? Like, So yeah, definitely I agree with what Santika said. Like talk about like the digital market industry in the US compared to Indonesia, and how you believe that we can learn here in Indonesia, we can learn so much from the digital marketing industry in the US because of such and such and such. That's why the US, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that for you. I hope it helps you answer your
Has
essay.
Jan consult with you, Santika, or not yet? Not with me for sure.
I think we receive. I think I received your emails, but not
We're
in.
gonna wait for you. We're gonna wait for you, Jan.
We're going to wait for you for sure. And another thing is that we want to let you know that we don't, because I also got this question from Abi. He's applying for the bachelor degree. And he also asked about, essay consultation with us, Fina, whether we only do the U.S. university application essay or also the scholarship essay. So our focus is the U.S. university application essay, which is your personal essay, statement of purpose, and all of that sort. We don't really focus on the scholarship essay, but that's case by case if we really have time for that, and if we feel like we really know you as our advisee. Just because I think for scholarship it's kind of tricky, Afinaya, like what kind of candidate that they're looking for sometimes is not for
Yeah,
us.
the case by case that Santika said here is if we say yes to it, it's only Fulbright.
Oh yeah.
Right? Only Fulbright. So that's, but even with Fulbright, it's case by case. So we don't normally, like, we try our best not to read it, but if we say yes to that, it's gonna be Fulbright. Why? Because, well, Fulbright is from the US government. So
Exactly.
I would definitely like give a no to, like, please like read my LPDP essay. I will definitely say no, because like what Santika said, we don't know exactly what they're really looking for in the applicants. Not that we also know what the Fulbright team actually looking for. That's why it's case by case. Why? Because for me, I have seen the type of Fulbright awardees in the past. You know, like the type of their plan, like their goals and everything is very niche, I would say. And that's what makes Fulbright is very competitive as well. But yeah.
Yeah, and prestigious as well. So if you got, regardless of, if you got like LPDP or Fulbright or any scholarship, and your end goal is the same as our goal, which is going to the US university or college, feel free to reach us out. We will do our best to help you with what you need.
Yeah.
But yeah, for LPDP, the application, we won't have a lot that we can give to you, just because it's very, and I think most of the things are also in Bahasa Indonesia. So, there's nothing much we can do for that. But yeah, if you have the LPDP already, Yan, feel free to come to us. Or if you plan to catch the LOA first, which there is that pathway now that you can get the LOA first and then apply for the LPDP. If you want to do that, and you can come to us as well. Okay. And I actually have let's see, question from Eva Zulia. I'm planning to apply to Columbia Engineering School, and she actually asked for like evaluator before, if the U.S. Embassy have one, and I told her to go to the university, very specific and what their preference is, because they usually mention one or two of the institution that they prefer. We usually see west.org, yeah, Vinaya.
But yeah, let me share a little bit to EFA, because EFA mentioned about the NACES.
Yes.
I don't know if they pronounce it NACES or whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so NACES is actually the umbrella institution for evaluator. So it's not about you choosing either NACES over another, but you have to pick one under NACES, right? So you can so you can simply go to the website NACES. I think NACES. What I think I opened it. NACES.org. I'm guessing. Yeah, NACES.org, and then you will find a list of many other evaluators, and WES is one of them. WES is the one that is quite common being used by the university. So again, like what Santika, definitely agree with what Santika said. You definitely have to go to the university website, because some other universities might mention specifically the kind of evaluator that they choose, that they prefer, and usually West. That's why West has been very like popular. But it seems like what you shared with us, is that the university is just simply saying that you can, use the NACAS accredited evaluator. So that means you can actually pick any evaluator under NACAS, right? But because the list are pretty like a lot, there are so many different evaluators out there. Probably just to be safe, you can do West, because I have not like take a look at other evaluators, but probably West is just the one that they've been receiving a lot from international schools. So I don't know, maybe the way they give you the result is quicker. But I know in the past that one of my advisees, they're really curious about the different price from so many different evaluators, and then I think he found one that is slightly cheaper but not like huge differences, and so that he decided to use it. But yeah, the short answer to that, if you just don't want to spend too long picking one, I would say West would be like the go-to institution for you, evaluator.
All right. Thank you, Vina, for explaining that. I learned a lot today, actually.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But
So I
yeah,
don't.
it's actually really interesting, right, Santika, being advisors, because although like okay, this is like my 5th year, but I'm still learning. I'm learning every day. It's not like now I'm on my 5th year, I know everything. I actually know a lot of like I don't know a lot of things, and I actually learn a lot from advisees. Don't you agree, Santika?
Yeah, I totally, completely agree with that. So if Yan attended our event last Thursday, he know that I said this before, but I'm gonna repeat that. So every time we deliver the same PowerPoint, right? We have monthly event, which is the how to write and how to build strong CV and letter of recommendation. It's the same PPT that Fina used and Fina present, but every time I'm here to moderate or to help in the chat box and help her with the Q&A section and moderate like this, there's always something new that Fina will say, and there's something new that I will say. So I think that's because we keep on having new advisees that come to us with their stories and their cases and their goals. So that makes us also learn in a way, right? And we can share that back to everyone here. So yeah, that's very interesting. Oh, Eva here. Looking forward to one-on-one advising session with you and Miss Fina. Yay!
Yes,
We
absolutely.
want
So
come in.
I'll be available tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Monday. So yeah, but again, whenever you want to, whenever anyone wants to come in,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe Santika, we can share a little bit like what happens when someone comes, do a one-on-one advising with us. Like, what is it with you, for example? Because so the advising session is so Santika has her shift is going
Yeah.
to from 1 until 5. So it's not like the two of us are standing by together. So that's why you basically need to pick just one of us. Don't consult like to the two of us, because we receive a lot of different advisees. So we want to just focus on one advisee at a time. So with Santika is from 1 to 5, with me 5 to 9. But maybe Santika can share. We have like our own style when we do
Yeah.
advising session, right? So what is it with Santika, and I'll tell mine.
So with me, when you first come in, I will ask if this is your first time and how you find Education USA. And then I will ask what kind of things that you need from us. And then we go from there, like getting to know each other, like, oh, you are applying for this. Oh, you have this kind of difficulties. Like, oh, I'm trying to find this information, but I cannot find it. Or I'm trying to look for a scholarship, but I don't know which one to look at, everything like that, and we go from that. If you're a first timer, we go ahead and fill in like a form that we use in confidential, so we don't share our data to anyone. We only use your email address to send you invitations to our future events that we think going to be helpful for you. So that's for me, but I never ever ask And in fact, I don't know most of my advisees' GPA, or even if I know, like they sent me the CV with their GPA on it, I wouldn't remember their GPA at all, because it's just not something that we use to determine whether you are a prospective student or not. And Fina actually said that in, your presentation, which I think I'm like, yes, yes, I never ask GPA.
because
Um,
because we just don't see the point in there, right,
yes,
Santika? Because
yeah,
we don't want to basically, so this is to also maybe tell people out there that if even if you have like a 3.0 GPA, 3.1 GPA, it's still possible for you to study in the US,
yeah,
right? And
totally.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
and the most, I think the most important, or like the more crucial part if you want to study to US, is the English proficiency part, because I find that, and what I learned from Fina and other university representative who came to Ed America before, when they're sharing, I do ask them these questions as well, that you English proficiency is more strict in a way, because if they ask for if they ask for, let's say, TOEFL IBD of 92, that means they will need you to have 92, to survive in their campus, in their department, and whatever that they have measured, that you need 92. So yeah, I think that is more urgent compared to if you feel like, oh, my GPA is just this much, I don't feel like I can get accepted and everything like that. So that's why we never ask the GPA question, but instead, when they say they want to apply to this and that, I will ask, oh, have you taken TOEFL before? And everything like that. And if they haven't and they want to learn, then that's, my cue. Do you want the TOEFL and GRE prep course resources? Yeah, that's what usually happen in my session. So yeah, go ahead and share yours, Vina. It's going to be.
No, but I actually have a question that I actually wonder. But do you see a lot of these advisees who, the first timer, do you see that they are coming back, or you had a session one time and then they just disappear after that?
I have mostly recurring. It's very rare that I just met once and then
And they just disappear.
it
Yeah.
just disappear. There are some like that, but they will come back like months later, when it's not their first time anymore. They come in again, and I'm like, I think I've met you before.
Mhm.
And all of the flashbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting that we have recurring advices, and I'm sure it's the case with you as well, Vina,
Mhm.
because I think people who kind of have interest to study to the United States already have this kind of like um apa ya, kayak vision, or like mentality that, okay, I want it, like they really know that they want it, and they kind of chase after it, and they know that we can provide them with good help and information and guidance. So that's why they come back for free.
Mhm.
Everything is for
Mhm.
free.
And what to expect if they want to see you, Santika? Should they turn their camera on? So probably they need to kind of like be prepared before seeing you. And so how does that work?
With me, I'm not really into I don't know, Zoom camera on session. It's not really my thing.
You
Most of
prefer doing it in person?
Yeah, because I will be in my living room or my room, so I don't know what time people will come in if they're first timer. So the common thing for me to do is to turn off the video and the mute it, right? And then when someone come in, and I'll just turn them on, But I will see if they don't turn on their video, then I wouldn't turn on my video. But on some days, I will turn on my video, and I would love to see the advices. So
Right.
yeah, it really depends where I am when I'm working from home, and I also don't really expect people to turn on their video, only if they feel comfortable to. Because the funny thing is, Pina, I actually asked like once or twice to different advices,
Uh-huh.
and all of them are like so hesitant to turn on their video. Well, I'm already turning on my video, and I'm like, hey, this is like a very good session, and I'm very happy to meet you. Um, do you want to turn on your video, or because we have been doing this for what, 2 times, and I never see you before, so that I know you if you come into At America later when we go back to normal. And then he's like, oh, I'm not ready. I haven't, I'm not that neat right now. I don't feel confident. Can I do it next time? And that's it. Yeah, I'm
For
done.
me, like a couple of days ago, so for me, the difference is for me, like I definitely prefer to do it in person. That's why I really cannot wait until we go back to normal and everything. But I also see the advantage of now that we are going fully digital because look, we can have someone all the way from Nairobi and like not only for people in Indonesia. So I think it's also great. But then I still yearn for that kind of
Person.
interaction. Exactly. So if you do an advising with me, you will definitely most of the time I will turn my camera on, but I'm not gonna be like wearing neat type of like clothes. Exactly like what Santika said. I'll be at home. I'll be in my room with not like nice hair and everything. But I still prefer to see people. Like I still prefer not to just because if we don't turn the video on, it feels like for me just like a phone call, and I'm not a big fan of talking on the phone. For me, it's either seeing the person in person or like if we're doing it like digital, I at least can still see the person from the camera. And so the other day, I already turned my camera on, and then this someone came. But what I see from people is that as long as I turn my camera on, they will automatically turn their camera on as well. But then this one time, he just decided not to turn the camera on, and then so I just heard his voice, and then while I already looking at myself, and then I'm like, oh, so you're not turning your camera on? And then she felt bad, and then, oh yeah, okay, hold on, I'm gonna turn the camera
Oh
on.
my god.
But yeah.
But yeah, is that kind of like when you, because you don't, when people come in, your camera is already on, right?
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
didn't turn that off because
Yeah.
even if you're alone standing by in the Zoom room, your camera is on.
Yeah, my camera is on.
Oh, okay, okay, that
Yeah.
one. And then when
Yeah.
people come in, they already see you, so they
They
naturally
already see
feel
me.
like, okay,
Exactly.
I'm gonna
They
turn on
already
my
see me.
video.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
try that trick because
Or
what
you
I
don't actually
do,
have to turn your camera on all the time. You can just like turn it off, but then when you are admitting the advisee to the room, then you turn it on. That's usually sometimes
yeah,
what I do because sometimes I would like walk around in my room and stuff like that.
exactly.
So
That's
yeah.
my concern. So what I do is if I turn on my video is I let them in and I turn on my video. But after talking for a while without the other party's video, I feel like I'm talking to
That's odd. Yeah, that's odd. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I can
Absolutely.
have my
Absolutely.
video.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that your advice is actually followed. You
That's
turn.
always it's always like that. It's always like
I
that.
wonder what
I think
happened
so.
there because they
Yeah.
didn't do the same to me because
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's
not
interesting.
looking at their part of the camera. Maybe I should do that, staring there,
Mm. Yeah.
staring at that camera and then let them turning it on as well. Yeah, there's this one advice that I'm really curious because we have been meeting or having advising session for a few times and I never see his face or her face. I'm like, very interesting. But yeah, I'm gonna try that. Um, Another way is maybe we have a photo session during
Mm.
advising,
Mm-hmm.
advising session.
Mm-hmm. I tried to do that actually in the past, but I wasn't just like that representable. Probably I have
Oh,
to do
really?
it like in Ad America like this, then I wouldn't mind for us doing like a
Oh
photo
yeah, we
session. But like oftentimes like when I was at home, I'm just like with my, like not like pajama, but not like
but yeah, maybe I'll try that, like giving the heads up as well to my advisee. Hey,
that you're gonna be in Ad America.
we are going to have a screenshot session. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
I can try that. So we
okay.
can kind of like encourage more people to come in and turn on their video with
Mm-hmm.
you and me.
Yeah.
So Yan says securing funding is much more important, I would guess.
Yeah, because I was asking like when Yan wants to apply, and then yeah, things seems like Yan wants to secure the scholarship first. But yeah, no, with that like scholarship situation, right? I totally agree. Like me personally, like I prefer to secure the funding first, but and that's kind of like what happens with Fulbright. by the way, right? Like with Fulbright, you're technically securing the Fulbright first, and then once you get accepted, then you're working on your application. And I
Yeah.
totally like with Fulbright on that. However, this is not really the case if you want to apply for LPDP, which is the the Fulbright Indonesian government scholarship, because sometimes we don't really know exactly like what months that they are going to open the application. Jan said here LPDP will start opening in March. Really hope that will be the
So
case.
yeah, if I remember correctly, Yan, you are not you're not in Jakarta, and if you are in eastern part or like some area in Indonesia that the government wants to boost the education level in, you can try looking at other LPDP section or category, like LPDP BIT, LPDP afirmasi dan segala macamnya. So aside from LPDP regular, which have more applicants in it, you can try looking at other category that you are eligible for and try on that one because I think it will increase your chance.
So Jan, with your location, can you apply for the LPD? So you will apply for LPDP BIT, right?
Maybe
So can you know what I've
let me unmute him.
yeah. Can we unmute you? Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yes, but my aspirations of the perfect or most prestigious scholarship will be Fulbright.
Yeah.
However, my aim is to have a reskilling and upskilling in US. So I will also try every possible funding, which is I could just apply LPDP after Fulbright. Yes, but by the way, I'm in Sumbawa Island, which is like 3 days travel from Jakarta.
But that's like the place where everyone wants to go.
Yeah, for
Everyone wants to go.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you love
But I
to
heard
do
it's really
surfing,
expensive to get there.
come here, please.
how to get there.
I
Highly
would
recommend
love
it.
to.
Guide us how to get there because we want to go,
I'd
but
love
like
to.
I don't know how to go
But
there.
Jan, if you apply for LPDP, you will apply for the LPDP BIT, right?
Yes, because that will increase my chances because they're going to put me to compete with those are coming from the same area like mine.
Yep.
But however, scholarship like Fulbright also they want to like elevate the level of education to the rural area like mine. So they will put a little bit like more consideration on the people coming from my district, I guess.
I agree. I'm currently working with a number of LPDP BIT. So I don't know if you guys who are watching this know what LPDP BIT is. LPDP, well, it's still part of the LPDP, but it's Beasiswa Indonesia Timur. So it's specifically for people who are in the eastern part of Indonesia. I love this. The fact that LPDP people come up with this specific, looking for specific awardees from the east part of Indonesia. I think it's really amazing, and I've been I'm loving the all of the sessions with my advices coming from the eastern part of Indonesia.
Exactly. Yeah.
It might be kind of like take a longer time finishing the essay, but I have one who was pretty much done, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got accepted. But like in the past, there are also like a great number of LPDP BIT awardees that make it to the US, right? And Santika also.
Yeah, I have
Two.
one or two advisees with LPDP BIT who got accepted and they are kind of planning to go next year. Hopefully they can go smoothly because of the pandemic and everything. But yeah, it's really, really amazing to see that despite of where you live with the more limited resources compared to the capital city, you have such great goals and everything that you want to do with the country. And that's what I learned a lot from, essay from advices like that. So yeah, it's totally interesting, and we have a lot of LPDP BIT advices as well, and we love to work with them very much. And for LPDP, I think you mentioned something about it that I want to add, but I can't remember right now. And okay, we have another question, Vina, from Uli Simamora. think we're running out of time as well. Time flies, guys.
Oh my goodness, that's true. 12:38. Wow. Okay. All right. So I read it just now, and I said I will answer it in a second. So here's my answer. So you're asking basically, if you had, you want like low competitions, but 6 years ago, do you put it in the essay? That's like not normally what I would read in an essay. So I don't know, Uli, if you have ever attended our session about essay. If you have not, I think I just shared it, the YouTube page. If Santika can help me, scroll it down up a little bit. I answered Ian's question. It's a link to the YouTube from just like this past Thursday. If you have not watched it, I definitely encourage you to do it. Or if the deadline is still like so far away, you can wait until January where I'm giving the presentation again. But you can definitely watch it. We just had it like last Thursday. So why I said that is not normally how I see you mentioning about you want competition 6 years ago is because normally that's not like what you put in the essay. The U.S. essay, wherever you go, even for law, is mostly about what do you want to use your law degree for. So the short answer to your question, you winning law competitions back in the day is something that you would definitely want to show that off in your resume or CV. And once you have that, technically you don't really have to put it in your essay unless the university specifically asked about some kind of competition or what have you that you have won in the past, which I have never seen that. I've never seen a university ask that kind of question. It's mostly about why law? Why our university? What is your professional goals? What is it that you want to do in the future? So it's not about you showing it off in the essay. You can show that off in your resume, but essay is a completely different level on in terms of like the content. So yeah, hopefully that answers, and definitely time flies. Tina, so just mention it in the CV and resume, correct? So Uli asked just to mention it in the CV and resume. Yes, the answer is yes. Essay, if you have not attended our essay events, I would recommend you to watch it first because it will sound like it may not make sense if I just like say it now in a minute or two. But watching it, you will be like, oh, okay, now I get why the US essay is like this, right? So let's wrap it up. I really appreciate everyone who is watching this session, not in Zoom, but I had so much fun here in Zoom. We have so much fun here in Zoom. But everyone who is watching this session from different platform, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully, it's you learned something. But we definitely want to do this again, right, Santika? Just to kind of like checking up on you guys, and I would also like to use this opportunity to allowing you guys to say hi to one another, just to share your plan. And I really also appreciate people who are not from Indonesia and tuning into the session. Definitely check what we're going to have in January because we were going to invite a number of alumni, current students. I think the current student one will be interesting because it's going to be live from the US and he just got there. So we're going to bombard him with so many questions. I already have my own questions to ask, like how can he find the housing? What is it like on the when he gets to the airports and everything? So I'm very excited to this event, and he's one of my advisors as well. And then the alumni session will be interesting as well because he graduated a while ago. I think I think not that while ago, 2018. But then he's currently working in the U.S. So we want to hear from him. Like, what is it like to actually start as an international student, and then now he's actually land a job in the U.S. And another one is incoming students, also one of my advisees. So still fresh, just recently got the LOA. So we're going to hear from her the application process and stuff like that. And yeah, we really hope that we can definitely see people not only from Indonesia but also outside Indonesia for this session as well. So because we're able to make it more general. Although actually the discussion session we might actually be doing it in our language in Indonesian, so yeah, I have to apologize for that probably. But we could usually do like a mixture of English as well. But the 2 monthly events that we have, for example, the resume CV and the essay is are fully in English, so everyone can actually watch it. All right. So thank you, Santika, for sharing with us some of your insights. Thank you, guys, and I will see you in 2021. Thank you. And I'm going to give it back to Maya. Thank you, Santika.
All right, thank you so much, Kafina and Kasantika. That was a very insightful session. We hope to see you again next time. Now, the rest of you, please don't go anywhere because earlier in this event, I asked you guys, before transferring to Columbia, former President Barack Obama was enrolled at this institution. And the right answer is B, Occidental College. But unfortunately, nobody got the answers right this time, so better luck next time. Now, you may be wondering, how can I develop an awesome idea for a place like this? Easy. You can go to our website at www.atamerica.or.id, click Create an Event, and collaborate with us. All proposals coming to us will be reviewed, and your event might be featured here soon. And while you're on our website, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletters for weekly event updates sent straight to your inbox. All right, everybody, it has been really fun, but unfortunately, we have to say goodbye for now. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at ATAmerica for event updates, fun content, and so much more. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Happy weekend!